Now let's shift our focus to space. Another company has begun trying to reach the stars and trying to make a fortune doing it. British billionaire Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic is open for business. It launched its second commercial space flight yesterday. 3 space tourists went to the edge of the atmosphere. They spent a few minutes hovering above the Earth. Then they came back to gush about their experiences. The space tourists included an 80-year-old former Olympian with Parkinson's disease and the first mother-daughter duo in space. Those two won a lottery for the spaceflight tickets. It sounds like a feel-good story, doesn't it? And we are happy about these unlikely tourists. But the flight should also have us worried. After Elon Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, a third billionaire space tourism company is operational. And this industry brings with it a lot of risks for the rest of us. Here's a report.
Another space tourism company has launched, Virgin Galactic. Richard Branson's much-delayed space venture has finally taken off.
2, 1, release.
The company had its first commercial flight on June 29th. That one had scientists on board.
Welcome back to Space Unity.
But the second flight, the Galactic 02, took off yesterday, and it ferried out space tourists. One was 80-year-old former Olympian John Goodwin. He was Virgin Galactic's first paying customer. He bought the ticket 18 years ago, all the way back in 2005. He paid about $250,000 for his seat. Now, all these years later, he finally went to the edge of space. He's also the second person suffering from Parkinson's disease to go to space.
I'm hoping that I instill in other people around the world, as well as people with Parkinson's, that it doesn't stop you doing things that are out of the normal. If you've got something that's some illness that's inflicted you. So I just hope the good comes out of that as far as other Parkinson's people suffering.
2, 1, release.
With Goodwin were Keisha Shahaf and Anastasia Mayers, a mother-daughter duo, the first ever to go to space together. They're also the first people of African-Caribbean heritage in space, so it was another milestone. The pair were lucky with their tickets. They didn't pay nearly as much as Goodwin. They won the tickets in a lottery.
Hi Anna, you and your mother are going to space.
Anna, we won! I'm still up there. I'm not here yet. I'm still up there, and it's just amazing that you can land so smoothly on the runway coming back from space. That was the most amazing. I mean, looking at Earth was the most amazing.
You are so much more connected to everything than you would expect to be. Like, you felt like a part of the team, a part of the ship, a part of the universe, a part of Earth. It was incredible, and I'm still starstruck.
She says she was starstruck. And who wouldn't be? She went to space, the final frontier. The mother-daughter pair were incredibly lucky to get a chance. But how many will get that lucky? How many of us will get a chance to blast off to space because of a lottery? Or will space tourism mostly be a millionaire's hobby? Goodwin paid $250,000 18 years ago for his chance. The first space tourist was Dennis Tito from the US. He went to the International Space Station in 2001 aboard a Russian Soyuz spacecraft. Back in those days, he paid $20 million for the experience. Between 2001 and 2009, there were 8 space tourists. All of them paid $20 million or more to go to space. And they were tagging along with astronauts on missions. So, back then, space tourism was a way to subsidize scientific endeavors. That isn't the case anymore. Today, you have 3 billionaires trying to carve out a niche in the space tourism industry. Elon Musk with SpaceX, Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, and now Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. They all have unique types of spacecraft, and the distances they reach are different. But they have one thing in common. Other than during publicity stunts, their passengers have to pay a lot.
Welcome to space.
The prices are usually hushed up, but one SpaceX tourism flight ended up costing the tourists $55 million each. Now you can say it's their money. They should be able to spend it the way they like. But should they be allowed to do it if it can hurt the rest of us? Which it can. Here's how. Research papers have shown that space tourism is a massively polluting industry. If we get constant reminders about how our car emissions are hurting the planet, think of what the rockets are doing. Even private jets don't compare to space tourism pollution. And the worst part is, the rockets can bring back a problem we're actually fixing, the ozone layer hole. These tourist rockets could undo the repairs to the ozone layer, once again showering those of us on the ground with harmful radiation. And for what? So that rich people can pay millions to float about in zero gravity? None of that money is coming to us. Whatever taxes a launchpad country charges, they won't get shared equally around the world. Only the consequences will. While we may be fine with taking risks for scientific study, are we willing to suffer for a millionaire's fantasy? So, until it's regulated and deemed safe for us down below, space tourism may need to be grounded before we all go up in smoke.